If you are what you say you are.
Hey, Roger Love here. Hey, are you in the game? Are you tired of your people carelessly costing you dollars? Are you coaching them up? Coach Love is my name that it used to be, and some people still consider me that. Now I consider that an honor because I coached and trained so many people throughout my lifetime, throughout my career. So I got on the attire, going back to the old days, I got my whistle, and we were ready to drill, ready to practice, drill, and rehearse, and get it going. You gotta get your people in the game. If you're a leader, if you're a business leader, let me tell you something. You wanna be in business, you gotta be in the people business first. People is what make your business go. If I didn't have people, I wouldn't be where I'm at. We gotta bounce ideas off of them, but more effectively as a leader, we gotta listen to them. We gotta listen to them. Sometimes we're in a leadership position, we don't want to hear what the soldiers have to say. They're in the field, they're fighting for you every day, but we have to get them to listen. We have to get ourselves to listen, and get the ideas of what they're trying to relate to you and what you're trying to relate to them on the same page. Once you got that, you can see the vision of where you need to go. Observe your people. You know, you teach them something or you give them parameters where they need to go and what they should be doing. Inspect what you expect. That don't mean that you're just kind of micromanaging them, but you're watching and seeing and checking their work and seeing what they're doing. Too many times businesses fall because, again, we stop coaching our people. You gotta be in the coaching business or the training business or the teaching business. Businesses fail because they refuse to train. I talk to a lot of different dealerships that from time to time call me, and I tell them the most important thing is you gotta train your people daily. You gotta train your people daily. It should be at least 20 to 30 minutes a day of training. If you don't have that time, you designate 3-4 days a week where you need to be training your people, revising your people, have meetings so everybody's on the same effective page. You cannot sell or be in a business if your people are on the same page. I see it too many times. Businesses fail. They just collapse because, again, the coach gets comfortable. We sit on the bench and we just observe the game. We don't get involved. We don't practice anymore. Practice becomes not important. I'm going to tell you again, and I'm not Allen Iverson, but practice, 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 practice. It doesn't have to be a perfect practice. It needs to be practice to make that person that's practicing perfect. You gotta get yourself to that point if you're in businesses and you are leading people. If you want to be successful, you gotta train yourself. You gotta push yourself. You got to get yourself in the game. In order to get in the game, you gotta be in shape. And what I'm saying here is, too many times people aren't coaching their people. They are teaching them, they are listening to them, they are critiquing them. And there's a nice way to critique your people and still lift them up. Leaders and coaches know how to put people in the right place at the right time. Do you have the right people? I hear it all the time from a guy that I work for, Bob Roy. Roger, do you have the right people? He asks all his generals, do you have the right people that are working for you? Do you have the effective team that you need? Because sometimes on a team, you need the right people at the right place and the right mix to move forward, and they all have to see the vision. I'm gonna give you about 4 or 5 points here of what you need to do if you're gonna be successful and be a good coach to your people and coach them up. Number 1, give them the mission. What's your mission? What's your point? What's your purpose of what you're trying to do? What's the number 1 goal that you are trying to do with your people? You gotta have to write it down, and that's great. But if you don't have that puzzle of teamwork, every piece of the puzzle gotta come together for teamwork, it's not gonna happen. So you gotta have that puzzle come together. What's your mission? Where do you want these people to go? What do you want them to do? What's expected of them? That's point 2. What's expected of them? What do you want to see in their performance every day? You gotta see something in their performance every day. 3, train them, teach them, coach them in the positions that they're in. Check for progress, show them their progress. In the dealership that I'm in, We try to show people their progress every day by we put it up there, how many units they got out, where they're at, and what they're doing every day. They need to see where they're at and where they're going. If you know where you want to know where you're going, they gotta see where they're at. And the fourth thing that I think that's really, really huge, you gotta motivate, you gotta encourage your people. You gotta let them know they can do the job. You trust them, you believe in them, they have the confidence. If you're training them, they're gonna have the knowledge, which in turn should build their confidence up, man. They should be confident because they know what they know, they can't no one tell them different. But once they have your encouragement, help. If you're in a large corporation, try to know the names. If you're in a large corporation where you got other people under them, make sure they're trained to do it the way you want it. When I was coaching, I told guys, this is the way I wanted them to perform. This is the way I want them to do it. Show them. Hands-on is a good thing because now they're doing it exactly the way you want it. You perfect it. If you're still not doing it, perfect it. Practice, drill, rehearse. It's important. And I'm just telling you, if you're going to be in the game, Coach Love's telling you, you gotta train your people. You gotta get them in shape. You gotta get them ready for the war and the situation. Are you gonna have some failures? And that's failure's gonna come. But the effective leaders understand and they go back to the drawing board and figure out what we gotta correct these things. What's working? What's not working? What do we need to do right? What do we need to improve on? Same thing with classroom teachers. Go back to the drawing board. Your kids are not making an standardized test. Let's go back to the drawing board. Where are we weak at? What do we need to get better at? Understand where your people are coming from. Spend time talking to your people. I'm telling you again, if you're gonna get in the game, you better coach your people. A coach's job is never done. A coach's job is never done. It's never done. You're always coaching. You're always perfecting. Bobby Knight said, as a coach, if I'm always talking to you and I'm on you and I'm coaching you, that means I still see some potential in you, so you don't have anything to worry about. The minute I'm not talking or coaching you, you better be worried. And I try to tell my people the same thing. I'm always talking to you, I'm always coaching you. They're like, man, you on me because I see the potential that you can't see. Sometimes people see the potential in you that you don't see in yourself. You get what I'm saying? They can see it, they know it's there. You just gotta put it in motion. I always saw talent as a coach. I knew it was there. And I would push guys, I would ride some guys harder than others because the talent was there. Some guys are natural, some guys aren't. You just gotta push them a little bit. Coaching needs to lead, to pull. You gotta pull them a little bit. You gotta get them to that place. But I'm telling you again, you gotta be in the game, whatever you're doing in your field of business or your study, you better coach your people if you're in a position of leadership. We're gonna review these 4 points again. I talked about number 1, train your people. And I should also put a segue to that. Train and recruit people. Recruit them. Make sure you get the right mix of people. Train them. Coach them the way you want it. That's what's important. And again, you got to practice, drill, rehearse with your people every day. Train them, then begin to coach them. Teach them every day some new stuff. You got to do that with your people. You got to do that. Third, check for results. Show them results of where they're at. They gotta know where they're at, know where they're going. Again, encourage them, coach them up, let them know you believe in them and stay on them. That's that Bobby Knight theory. I believe that made him so great. He stayed on these guys, he coached them, and he stayed on until they got it right. And if he eventually sees that there's eventually going to be a point that he's got to move on, and that type of business he's in, he's got to move on to the next guy. Sometime in your business, you have to move on to the next guy. And again, I think the biggest thing is you got to be a motivator for your people. I'm Roger Love from Roger Love Speaks. Don't be good, be great. I'll see you in a week.
Now that's important to say, cause even with all that, most of us don't want it to fade. We want it to braid, meaning we want it to grow, meaning we